Good morning again, everyone. Sorry I missed the break. So, the second semi-final of the Jason Owen Open. In fact, the man himself, Jason Owen, I saw him this morning at breakfast. He's here for the event. I'm sure everyone will be familiar with Jason's work. A fine cue maker. Sponsors a lot of the top players. So we see whether Jack Whelan can find his way into two finals. What a feat that would be in itself. Gotta say, he's played fabulously all the weekend. I think it's fair to say, after Jack won that World Championship in the following couple of years, he probably, as many world champions haven't, probably just maybe just faded slightly on the practice table, and it's definitely showing. And we get our first look at Dan Eaton-Lees. From the Midlands. Hails from Warsaw. So as we did with the previous two semi-finalists, just had a kick there. As we did with the previous semi-finalists, let's have a look through at their route through to this point. Jack Whelan, round one, beat Matthew Povey 4-2. Round two, beat Jamie Fay 4-1. And then had a hill against Craig Hart, beaten 4-3. Then the last 32 beat Jamie Graham 5-3. Neil Davey 5-2 in the last 16, and beat John McAllister in a hill game just this morning 5-4. For Dan, round one, beat Govey Gill 4-3. Nathan Ellis 4 frames to 2. Then Harry Compton 4-0. Jimmy Carney 5-1 in the last 32. Last 16 beat Chris Day 5-3. And again, just this morning, beat Callum Singleton 5 frames to 3. Both players having a very good weekend. Obviously cueing the ball well. So Dan plays in Region 3, West Midlands. To his credit, he's won the Champion of Champions single and the Golden Q 3-man team winner. Yeah, just ran out of position and needed to play a little swerve shot. He's just come up short and he's left Jack another chance. So a couple of balls tied up for yellows. He's got a look of royalty about him, hasn't he? Kind of a King Edward beard going on there. So a miss from Jack, but a little tap on the cushion of apology there. Obviously played to try and get it safe, but it was that yellow that came to his rescue. Had it not been for that, this would have been a fairly simple little swerve shot to get through to the red. Jack probably feels he hasn't settled yet. A little shake of his head. I think normally he would have expected to pot that one. He knows that he's got a big final coming up later today, and he's going to have to be on top of his game to beat Clint. That's a nice shot. Lovely. When it's one, you kind of half expect him to get the one cushion escape, but nice. One frame apiece. So Jack Whelan, 2015 world champion. Was that really 6 years ago? I remember we were in the early days of early incarnations of beer productions. We were watching a game. It was probably Craig Lakin playing down in Spenny's at Bridgewater. Might have been Craig Lakin against Max Nosko. And Jack Whelan was off of the back of his 2015 world title. And he was there with Craig Lakin watching that game. And I remember that was the very early doors for beer productions. It was, probably, we've been going about a year or so, I would imagine. And I hadn't been commentating for too long, and it was an absolute thrill for me at the time to do a bit of stint of commentary with what was then the current world champion. And little did I know at the time that I would have the opportunity to commentate with many world champions over the years, but that was a real thrill. That was the first time I'd had a chance to commentate with somebody like that, and he did a stint on commentary with me. I remember how exciting that was for me as a pool fan, to be able to share a microphone with Jack Whelan. And, yeah, I can't believe that was 6 years ago. Nice angle. Just a stun up. And now simple yellow again, just to stun out for the black into left centre. I think I can honestly say Jack is curing the ball as well as he ever has. people have finished their breakfast and just emerging into this Sunday. You see more relaxed attire around the room. Nobody back in action now until 1 o'clock this afternoon when the 3-man blind competition restarts, or should I say starts. That's due to start at 1 o'clock, which will be after the conclusion of the final, which is going to take place after this. I'm in the final of the Jason Owen Open, and just to let everyone know that the final of the main event, which Jack Whelan's also in against Clint Ianson, is scheduled for 5 p.m. this evening. So set yourself a reminder. You need to be around at 5 o'clock because you're not going to want to miss that one. It's amazing looking around the room. You see the older, more experienced players. You see people like Arthur and Dad, who still a young man himself, but seems to have been around on the scene for years. And then you see young players like Luke Gilbert, the new breed, the new up-and-coming players, rubbing shoulders with each other. It's amazing the fantastic mix you get, and I think that's going to be highlighted in that 3-man event. All of the trios were picked yesterday. Everyone goes into the same hat, the ladies, the men, well, anybody really. I mean, even people like Zach Leonard, who are here in a working capacity. They've entered the competition, so he's playing in the 3 men. The organisers, they're playing as well. So it's going to throw up some amazing games this afternoon. I think that's going to be unique. It should be great fun. And I think there's going to be a real buzz as well when you think there's 28 tables in here, and on every one of the 28 tables there's going to be six people. So you expect to see the best part of a couple hundred people in this room at any one time. It's going to be fantastic. Jack electing to take the slightly harder red to middle just leaves him a better angle on this 1 to corner. He needs to finish fairly straight on the last red in the middle of the table to hold for the black. Doesn't want to leave an angle. Look at that. Absolutely perfect. 3 inches either side, and it's a little bit awkward to hold for the black. Leave it there. It's an absolute formality. And this is when we talk about tiny margins in pool. We see other players, they play that shot, they leave themselves just a couple of inches out of position, and they're struggling to hold. They have to cannon into balls. It just makes things more complicated. And see the players at the top of the game like Jack to get to 2 finals. That is an incredible achievement. But he's not quite there yet. But he will be if he keeps breaking like that. Jack's always had an absolute monster of a break. And there you see it. In fact, I remember all those years ago when I was commentating with Jack Whelan, we were talking about the break. And he actually said that he's more surprised when he doesn't pot a ball off the break, because he does have a massive break and high expectations of it. Such an important shot. People underestimate it so much. So many people don't even practice the break, but it's so important. It can be the weapon that wins and loses matches and tournaments. If you're breaking well, it makes the game so much easier. Lovely angle now just to come across and kiss the two yellows. And that's all it needed, just a tiny little kiss, just to open them up. Knew he was going to be on this ball down to bottom right. And now suddenly the frame is open. Just a series of delicate shots. I think we use the word effortless when we watch the best players, and I think it is just such a great descriptive word of the way they play, because they really do make it look effortless. We know it's such a complicated game. Well, it's actually not a complicated game. It's a really simple game that we make complicated, because we don't land the cue ball as well as these guys do, and we make it hard. I certainly do anyway. But when you watch the players at the top of the game, they make it look so simple. Down with his break cue. And yeah, it's not worked for him in this match. It's a shame for him because he's played so well to get to this point, but it's just not clicked in his favour. And another dry break from him. Sees Jack at the table, but this one a lot trickier. That little cluster of 4 balls on the left-hand side cushion. He's got the red to the top of that, which will go into right centre, and the cue ball is automatically just going to go into that little cluster and open them up. It's about how they come out. He needs to leave the cue ball slightly high, like a half ball cut on the red. Unless he's going to try and come across into them now. No. So, as I mentioned, it's just a half ball cut. And I think what he's looking to do is flick the red that's on the cushion, as you can see there. Just flick off of that and send the cue ball into the other red and yellow, and he'll bring everything out. If this goes right, it's going to be the frame. Maybe just didn't have quite the angle to flick that red, so just taking the yellow out. A little bit awkward now. I think he was hoping to get yellow and red out at the same time. And now yeah, he's got the red next to the black, but it's what he does next. Yeah, I can understand why he's done that. There was no real attacking options there, so just electing to push one of the yellows safe, make it difficult for Dan. And suddenly the frame's got a slightly different complexion. So we're going to see a little bit of a tactical frame, which is always good to see for a change after we've seen so much. Well, Sean Chipperfield earlier, you're never going to see a tactical frame from him. So it's good to see the contrast in style. And joined on comms now by Mark Shepherd, who's here for the 3-man this morning. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, that should be good. It's always a fun format. Random 3-man draw, random who you get drawn against. Always a bit of added pressure, the team one as well. Like when you're playing for yourself, you've only got yourself to blame if you do it wrong, but you kind of feel a bit responsible if you let the rest of your team down.
So Dan just going to move the yellow off the cushion. He's left the top snooker.
So I think this has been a pretty quick match, given it started at, 11 o'clock and 4-1 already?
Yes. Yeah, it does, yeah. Jack's been... he's played really well. And earlier on we had a great game between Sean Chipperfield and Lee Smith. So Sean Chipperfield awaits in the final.
Yeah, that should be a pretty lively final. Sean v Jack if it goes like this, or Dan if he can manage to pull it back.
Yeah.
And Jack's starting to look like the form player of the weekend, doesn't he? 2 finals back to back.
Yeah, I was saying earlier what an amazing achievement it is. So is he going to take the yellow long to maybe pot it off the yellow at the bottom of the table and try and open things up? Looks like that may be what he's targeting, unless... Yeah. So playing the yellow to the left of the table, cushion first to play it off of the yellow that's near the pocket. And if he plays it with a bit of pace, he may be able to send that yellow across into the cluster and open things up. So you could see this one travelling at speed. He needs a bit of luck though. He's got an option that he could play it as a 3-ball plant, play the yellow into the red, but it looks like the way he's trying to target it, he's going to go cushion first. He played it at a controlled weight. Still not great. It's not helped him at all. He's still got the ball that's tied up.
Yeah, I think he always knew it was going to be hard to get the second yellow out. As you say, there were a few options for clearing the first pocket. That's not turned out too good, though. But he's kind of left an angle that he can get into the cluster again, but it's going to be trusting to luck with where it all turns out.
Yeah, the problem with the yellow on this near rail, it's guarded either side, so even if you cannon it, it's where it's going to come out to. I think he's going to play a little percentages shot here. He's got the second visit, but that's not that's not gone to plan at all. Just push that yellow up onto the top side rail. It's gone horrible.
Yeah, he was targeting leaving it near the middle pocket, or even could have fallen in, but knocking it safe was the worst outcome.
And I don't think he's got any angle here to move it, so can't do much with the cue ball because it's on the rail, so may just be forced into leaving some kind of double. He's just looking at leaving the cue ball in bulk somewhere to leave like a reverse double, but the yellow, I mean, it's not in a nice position to be able to double it, is it? It's when they're tight on the cushion, they just seem to bounce differently.
Yeah, and there's also a bit to think about because the black doesn't go into one of the corner pockets. It matters where the white is as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and as I was saying, when they're tight on the cushion, always a danger that you can get a double kiss. But as I say, they just play different. If they're kind of an inch or two off of the cushion, then it makes a double so much easier.
Yeah, I mean that was exactly what you said, because I mean I made sure two off, and I don't think he ever misses that. But it was a kind of double kiss of sorts, wasn't it?
Jack's left a one cushion escape. If the yellow is a little closer to the pocket, you fancy him to get close to it.
Yeah, it's a reasonably easy hit, but it's a pretty tall order to pot it. And of course, even if he does pot it, he's almost certainly going to be snookered off the potting angle of the black. It's not an attractive position when you're 4-1 down as well, because you know that the last mistake could be the end of the match.
Important to hit it. He can't afford to give Jack two shots here.
No, I mean the only circumstances in which it would be okay to leave two shots is if he certainly wasn't leaving an opening shot, but it's going to be pretty hard to achieve that.
Yeah.
Because even though Jack's got this one that looks difficult at the bottom of the screen as we look, I think it goes past the black, so it's not going to be that difficult. Or could obviously be doubled if required.
I think Dan's just looking there to see if this was touching ball. If it is touching ball, it's even more restrictive of where he can hit that side cushion. I mean, he can't see the natural angle to get across the yellow, but he can play it one cushion with a bit of side. But as we say, it's very hard to try and judge it, to pot it. Trusting the luck here.
Yeah, I mean, potting it would be an okay outcome. I suppose hitting it on the far side and having the cue ball drift up to baulk would be sort of second prize, but it's not really an easy enough hit that you can get too greedy about how you contact it. Doesn't matter, of course, that whether it's touching the black in the sense it doesn't affect the shot, but it, as you say, it does affect how much of the cushion he can see. If it's that close to the black, his options are limited.
It's difficult to see a deliberate foul that's favourable to him as well.
Yeah, I mean, you'd need to not leave a pot, and ideally also not leave him able to do something useful with the first shot, like move one of the difficult balls.
Yeah.
Any kind of shot where he can open something up and still have the visit in hand isn't going to be much good. Oh, that's a bit unlucky to miss it as narrowly as that.
having said that, I mean, I was just exploring the options in my mind about a DF and leaving the cue ball up in the right hand jaws, and actually it's not the worst result because it takes away an attacking shot from Jack, and that's not the result he was looking for. As
it turns out, that's worked out brilliantly for Dan.
I mean, Jack's got a wry smile on his face because he's having a look over at Dan, because I think that's exactly what, if Dan could have done something, that's exactly what he would have wanted to do, is get the black over the pocket with these two reds behind it. And now a very tough ask for Jack. So I think he's going to play the red to try and just nudge the black out and leave the snooker at the same time. Has he come too far? I think he's okay. You know, he's left the snooker. Just cue ball rolled a little bit further than he wanted. Another quarter of a roll, and he left down a shot. Still shaking his head over in the corner. I don't think he can quite believe what happened.
No, there wasn't a lot of space, but he was thinking that as long as he got the red behind the black, he was at least going to get somewhere near the pocket and wouldn't knock the black in the way, but he caught it far too thick in the end. Easier escape, obviously, this time for Dan, but a similar sort of equation where simply hitting the ball isn't quite enough.
Yeah, now Jack's got that ball over the pocket. It kind of takes away the options that, and maybe an option again to leave the cue ball in the jaws, perhaps now of the top left pocket. I mean, the thing is, if you're ever going to deliberate foul, you want to try and find a position on the table where the oncoming player can't pop with their first shot. So basically, they're wasting their first shot.
He'll play this at such a weight that it goes up to balk if he does miss it.
Yeah. That's... yeah. Left Jack a plant to open his account. I think he'll be going game here, 4-1 up, just needing this one frame. Oh, wow. Well, not left anything.
No, I mean, kind of okay, I guess. It's not what he wanted, but...
I mean, it's... Dan's just gone about 25-1 for this frame now. And he's got the yellow at the top of the table. There's absolutely nothing he can do with the black. Jack's a heavy favourite now. I mean, you do kind of see these shots where if he can get the white out to the bottom cushion, he can come kind of cushion first and then half ball. Well, it's about as good as he could have done. So cushion first, half ball the black into the side, and then so he's targeting the black into the middle here.
Yeah, it's not a bad angle. He's going to come close to double kissing it, but if he can get the white out of the way.
No, cue ball. And that is going to be the last part that Dan plays. And it is going to be Jack Whelan. Doesn't miss with two visits from this kind of position. Oh my God. What was I saying? He hasn't missed yet.
With ball in hand, you might have just rolled that along down the table, but anyway, it doesn't make any difference.
No. It's not going to make any difference to the outcome of the game, but there's me just saying he's not going to miss from here, but carrying the two visits, he's fine.
So just one more positional shot to play.
It's not perfect.
No, I mean, he's not going to miss it, but like he's left it in a place you could. It's not quite as easy as you want for the match.
Composes himself. And it is indeed Jack Whelan with this black, who's going to get himself into yet another final this weekend. And as I've already mentioned earlier in commentary, what an incredible achievement that is in a 256-man field of this caliber. To get through to 2 finals is something amazing.